I've been Norwegian since the day I was born, and I love embracing my Norwegian heritage. But living 6,400 miles away from Norway can make that a bit difficult. So to do what I can make it locally. I love to eat lefse. I love throwing tomahawks, and I love to engage bouts of barbaric bellowing. Yet try as I might to embrace my inner Viking, there is one aspect of Norwegian culture I cannot accept. Lutefisk. Beware of Lutefisk, the bane of taste buds. This ancient dish from Norway is the strangest and most bizarre food in the world. There is no food quite like it, and thank Thor there isn't. Today I'm going to walk you through all the strange happenings of Lutefisk, including how it was made, how it was discovered, and finally my own personal experiences. So you might be wondering, what is Lutefisk? Well, scientists still don't know the answer to that question, but let's walk through how it's made. According to Food.com and Nordic Recipes Archive, it's actually a fairly simple recipe. Start by getting some stockfish, which is technically dried cod, although other fishes are available. Now, the dried fish is bad. No one likes eating it, so let's start by rehydrating this fish. So put it in a pot of water and soak it for 3 days. At this point, stop and realize, man, this soaking thing is taking way too long. So move the fish to a pot of lye water and soak it for 3 days. Now, whatever you do, do not taste it right now, because at this point the fish is highly poisonous. So let's purify it in water for 4 days. And make sure to put it in a fresh pot of water once a day. Change the water out. Okay, congratulations, you made it to the final step. Now all that remains is to actually cook the fish. So wrap it in cheesecloth and boil it for about 10 minutes or until it turns white and flaky. Now I know what you must be wondering. How did anyone discover this recipe? Well, that's actually a matter of some debate. There are countless stories of where it came from, and both Norway and Sweden both claim ownership of the original recipe. However, let's discuss what we do know. According to morsemarkets.com, the most common theory originates in Norway. Allegedly, a Norwegian fisherman had hung up his fish to dry when their town was invaded by a rival Viking faction. The fish house during the raid caught on fire. Fortunately, it started raining soon after, so the fire got put out, and all the fish ended up in a puddle made of the ash and water from the burning hut, which developed into lye. So it was lying in this lye puddle for a couple days until the fisherman returned. At that point he noticed, wow, this fish has expanded to almost what it looked like before it was dried. What a coincidence. So he washed it off and he tried it, and he declared, not bad. He was lying, for your information. Okay, so back then, people were weird, and they ate fish they found in puddles on the ground. But how did it spread to the rest of the world? Well, it turns out dried fish was an incredible preservation technique. A dried fish could last for years without going bad, and this was before they had refrigerators. However, like I mentioned, dried fish tasted terrible, just the absolute worst. So, with this new recipe, they could carry dried fish with them and restore them whenever they wanted with just some water and some ash. As such, this is the kind of food they brought on long trips, like when they migrated to America, and that's why we still eat it to this day. I worry I may have deceived you earlier. I described lutefisk as the strangest food in the world, but I feel like that might not be an accurate description, because I'm not convinced it's food at all. Alright, let me explain. Food typically comes in 3 forms. There is solid food, there is soft food, and there is soup. Soup, of course, we drink. Soft food are things like gelatin or smoothies. We don't drink them, but we're not really chewing them either. And solid food we put in our mouth, we chew, then we swallow, unless it's really small like an M&M, in which case we can just swallow. But lutefisk doesn't fit in any of these categories of food. It has the consistency of gelatin, so some might say, wow, it's a soft food. But wait, no, because it's too big and chewy. It's not a soft food at all. So, alright, it's a solid food. However, you don't eat it like a solid food or a soft food because it flows down your throat like a liquid. So, despite the fact that it's a solid food with the consistency of jelly, we almost drink it like soup. And if it can't evenly fit into any of the three categories, is it even food at all? I urge you to heed my warning and heed it well. Stay away from Lutefisk if you care about your sanity. From how you poisoning it is one of the first steps in the cooking process, to how it's discovered in a puddle, to how it might not even be food. This is the most bizarre fish in the world. And from its nauseating smell to its even worse somehow taste, I recommend you stay as far away as you physically can from this culinary phenomenon.